Hey everybody, this is Jim Prusak, physical therapist and the Pain PT. And today I want to talk about some of the resources for chronic pain and other chronic health ailments. I just want to let everybody know there is relief. You can find pain relief using this brain and nervous system approach. I want to give a shout out to some of the practitioners and people who have really contributed to this field and continue to work with people now, just so that you have, if you're a patient looking for help, you have some resources to turn to. So we've got to start with Dr. Sarno. He was the godfather of TMS, or tension myositis syndrome, we call it, chronic pain, chronic health ailments. He was the first one to really put this stuff on the map, and he sort of blazed the trail for the rest of us who are now following in his footsteps. He wrote three great books: Healing Back Pain, The Mind-Body Prescription, and The Divided Mind. And I always recommend to all my patients that they pick up at least one of these books to start with and have a read through to get sort of a baseline about this approach. Since Dr. Sarno's passed away, there's a bunch of other doctors who are blazing the trail still, and one of them is Dr. Schubiner, Dr. Howard Schubiner, out of Detroit. And Howard's great. I've worked with Howard more than a few times now. I've learned a lot from him, and he's written two great books called Unlearn Your Pain and Unlearn Your Anxiety and Depression, which we know goes hand in hand with pain. So you can check out his stuff at unlearnyourpain.com. He does assessments and evaluations for people. So if you're having a chronic pain problem or chronic health issue, you're not sure if it's what we call TMS or PPD or mind-body syndrome, he's a great resource for that. He's also has been doing a lot of research in the field, putting out papers to sort of substantiate all the work we're trying to do with people. So I give a tip of my hat to Dr. Schubiner. Another doctor in Seattle, Dr. David Hanscom, he's written a book called Back in Control, and he's a spinal surgeon. And what's great about Dr. Hanscom is that he has made the shift from being a spinal surgeon to doing this type of work. And so I really give him a lot of credit for being able to step out of that field and walk away from doing surgery on people, which he made his living out of, to doing this mind-body work with the brain and nervous system for chronic pain. So you can check him out at Back in Control. He has a podcast as well if you want to listen to that. Puts out some good information. So check him out. Another doctor in Los Angeles, Dr. David Schecter. He's written a book called Think Away Your Pain. And he also provides evaluations and assessments for patients. And he can be found at schechtermd.com. Georgie Oldfield, who's a colleague of mine in England, in the UK, and she started an organization called SERPA, and I'm a SERPA practitioner myself, and she's doing awesome work over there in Europe. She's really blazing the European trail, so to speak. She wrote a book called Chronic Pain, Your Key to Recovery, which you can check out. She has an online SERPA program, as well as she does consulting and pain coaching with chronic pain patients. And she's a physiotherapist like myself. So shout out to Georgie over there across the pond. And Steve Ozanich, who was a patient of Dr. Sarno's back in the day, he's written a really detailed book, a really big book that a lot of patients seem to like, called The Great Pain Deception. So you can pick that up if you haven't. He also does some consulting for chronic pain and TMS type stuff. You can see him at his website above, steveozanich.com. Nicole Sax is another practitioner, licensed social worker, who's written a book herself called The Meaning of Truth. And what I like about Nicole is she's really taken journaling and made that her big thing for chronic pain. She calls it journal speak, and she's done some great work in this field around that. She has at her website some resources. She offers some one-off consulting sessions, as well as some group sessions for people as a group with journaling. Her website is thecureforchronicpain.com, so check her out if you'd like to. Also, another great resource is what we call the PPDA. And I mentioned earlier that we have different acronyms for all these conditions. TMS was the first one from Dr. Sarno, but one of the more, I guess one of the newer terms is called PPD, Psychophysiologic Disorders. And this is a nonprofit organization that's trying to get the word out about chronic pain. And they've been doing some great work. They have a lot of resources on their website, And they also have a list of all the practitioners who work with people with TMS or PPD, chronic pain, chronic health issues. So you can find somebody in the US and also around the world, from doctors to psychologists, physical therapists like myself, and other people who work with chronic pain. There's also the Curable app that's come out in the last few years. This is really good. I've had a lot of good feedback from my patients on it. They can be found at curablehealth.com. And this is sort of like an online program you can do. And they also have some coaching in a group way as well. And they put out some good podcasts, really good information. I really like their stuff. They're really bringing the neuroscience and the brain and nervous system to the forefront with these things. So you can check these guys out if you want to have some more support and assistance that way. I'm going to give a shout out to Eddie Lindenstein. He runs the Mind and Fitness podcast. He was a recoverer from his own chronic health issues using the works of Dr. Sarno and a bunch of the other people I mentioned here. He runs a great podcast. He's interviewed a ton of people who have either recovered from TMS and PPD, as well as talking to the leaders in the field and picking their brains about what helps patients. So I think a lot of people gain value from listening to him and listening to his podcast and hearing other people who've recovered or how to recover. And last but not least, I mentioned myself, Jim Prusak. I'm a physical therapist, been working for over 20 years, and my passion now is working with chronic pain and other chronic health disorders using this approach through the brain and the nervous system. And I'm available for consultations. I work with people around the world via Skype, all over the place, as well as locally in the San Diego, California region. And you can find me at my website, thepainpt.com, or at the information below. And so hopefully this has given you a couple resources that can get you on the right path and a journey out of pain. And I wish you all a great day. Take care.